All right, New York Giants fans, it's Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. Haven't gone back to the old intro yet, only because of the fact that my voice is still shot. Still working on getting it ready. But you know what's not shot right now? It's the New York Football Giants' chances to make the playoffs. As strange and as unrealistic as it sounds, this team still has a chance to make the playoffs. Yikes. After 3 bad losses in a row, that pretty much prove this team is not really any better than the 2018 Giants, who went 5-11, and people, extolled that also as some said it was a success that season, some said it was a failure. That was Pat Shurmur's first year. Eli Manning had given the Giants defense the lead 5 times going into 2 minutes into the fourth quarter, and the Giants lost 4 of those games. It was a bad season, but it was a progression over the 3-win season we had the year prior. And this team, my throat is shot. This team and the parallels to this 2020 team are kind of interesting. And going into the final week in the season, in the 18 season, we were 5-10, like we are now. We had a lot of bad losses. As I just mentioned, we had the lead in the fourth quarter 5 times. We lost 4 of those games. We potentially could have been a playoff team, sort of like the Giants. Giants had a lot of bad early season losses, a lot of games that Daniel Jones gave away. But the only difference between the 18 team and the 2020 team is that the NFC East is so bad right now that 6-10 will take the division. Now, the question should be, do you really want to make the playoffs? And the answer to that is yes. You always want to make the playoffs. You always want to have your team in the big dance, in the postseason. You do. Even at 6-10. And like I said it before, even when you're the best of the worst, you're still number 1. But the problem is this team has regressed so greatly over the last 3 weeks and has kind of gone back to what we were at the beginning of the season when we were 1-7. The aberration of the improvement on certain players of this team have totally disappeared. The aberration that Leonard Williams is an all-pro, Pro Bowler, has vanished. Leonard Williams has vanished like a fart in the wind. Where the hell is he? 3 games in a row, we need him to step up. You want Aaron Donald money? You give me Aaron Donald play. You want to be a big-time paycheck player? Show me what medal you have in the big games, because right now you're not showing me anything. You showed me you know how to disappear completely. Now, will the Giants make the playoffs? Well, you know what? This division is just so bad. Washington has so many problems on offense. Good defense, so many problems on offense. Not sure they can beat Philadelphia, which is a bonus for us. The only bad thing is the way Dallas is playing right now. I'm not sure we can beat Dallas, even at home. And honestly, there really is no home field advantage anymore this year. And the majority of the teams do not have any fans in the stands. And it's going to be no different with the Cowboys coming into MetLife. The big difference is that the Cowboys have kind of switched places with the Giants. In the last 3 weeks, the Cowboys have scored 30 points, 41 points, 37 points. And they've won 3 in a row. And they've beaten the Bengals, the 49ers, and the Eagles. So with the Red Rifle back at the helm, this team has an opportunity to make the playoffs. And how much would it suck for the Cowboys, who were pretty much seemed to be out of it? I discounted the Cowboys, to be honest. I thought this was going to be a 2-team race between the Giants and Washington. But they have come back, Dallas, to win these 3 games, and these 3 games weren't even competitive. The 49er game was somewhat competitive, I guess. Not really. But they dropped 37, 41, and 30. And honestly, the Giant defense in the last 3 weeks, it hasn't disappeared. It just can't get off the field. You can't have these multitude of 9-minute, 90-yard drives. Oh, last week, Cleveland had 2 90-plus yard drives. And it was the first time this NFL season that a team had given up 2 90-plus yard drives of over 8 minutes in the entire season. Now, I don't think the defense is falling apart. I don't think that Patrick Graham has lost his touch. I just think, and I've said this before, I just think in some ways teams are starting to figure out the Giants. And we knew this was going to happen. If you have certain players coming in on certain downs and certain formations, you're going to run certain plays. And no matter how much you try to disguise that, that's going to happen. And it's the same thing on offense. Listen, the offense has been a train wreck all season. But the announcer on the game, what's his name? One of the announcers on the game yesterday really hit a nail on the head about the rotation of the offensive line. And I've said this a couple hundred times now. You're never able to build up continuity with your players if you keep shuffling them in and out. And poor Matt was an example of that. He got abused on 3 straight plays. But you can't, and I said this was going to happen. You can't expect every time. It's like a pinch hitter in baseball. He's not going to get a hit every time you pinch hit for him, even if you put him in the right situation because he's coming off the bench cold. Now, some guys, going back to the Mets, like Rusty Staub and Danny Heap in '86, they were the pinch hitting tandem. They always seem to get the big hit, and that works for a period of time, and then you go through a lull. Same thing rotating in offensive linemen. You rotate in an offensive lineman. He may be having a bad day. He might be cold that day. And I don't mean physically cold. I mean he just might be on a cold streak that day. He just may not match up well to the guy you're setting up against. And that is the downfall of doing that because you are never allowing a player to build continuity. And we've said this, and I've said it. I've said it a couple hundred times. That this situational defense and rotational situation on the offensive line was going to work for a period of time and then stop working. And it seems like it has stopped. It's not working now. But the reality check is right now for the Giants is this a team that can actually make the playoffs? Sure, they can make the playoffs. Are they going to do anything in the playoffs? Hell no. They run into an actual good team, they're going to show what they were. Are we as bad as we were 1-7? No. Are we as good as we were during our winning streak? No. We're somewhere in between. We're a bad team. Yeah, we're a bad team. Anyone that thought outside the season after the first couple of weeks that we were going to be anything more than anywhere, I was thinking 4-12, 5-11 after the first couple of weeks. Which, is not a step forward in the right direction, but your quarterback has not played well. You didn't have training camp. You brought in a rookie head coach. You brought in a new offense coordinator. Brought in a defense coordinator. It was just a quasi weird season. But the reality is, we were never as bad as we were, but we're also never as good as we were, or as good as the fans thought we were. We have multitudes of problems on offense, and it doesn't just stem to Daniel Jones and Jason Garrett. We still need to get some playmakers because we don't have them. Wayne Gallman, for everything that everyone was like, oh, we got to sign Wayne Gallman. We got to sign Wayne Gallman. I kept telling people, he is a good second to third down back. I think the play in Seattle when he got run down by Jamal Adams should have been an indication that he is not a breakaway back. He's a complimentary back. Evan Ingram, even though he made the Pro Bowl because there's a dearth in the tight end position right now because of injury, it was not the playmaker, the healthy playmaker that we saw or needed for the season. Sterling Shepard's a complimentary receiver. Golden Tate is just old. And I know we signed all the Victor Cruz 2.0s, and none of those guys worked out. But we just need to find a situation here where we can get some playmakers and get some continuity in the offensive line. We are going to be stuck with Daniel Jones for another year, and I have the concerns that is going to be a franchise killer. And then we're going to be 4-12, 5-11 next year as well. I hope to God I'm wrong. But you know what? We have a meaningful football game in the last game of the season. Let's try to finish out with the win. I would be very happy if we were a 6-win team and didn't make the playoffs. I'd be ecstatic. But we have to temper that with expectations, because the way we're playing right now, I am not 100% sure we can beat Dallas. And I have a feeling Philly can't beat Washington. But when push comes to shove, I'm not sure if we can beat Dallas. We're going to go deeper into the game as the week comes along. We're going to do a lot of other fun things. Also, check out our new Nick channel. We're going to be doing some Nick videos and some Met videos. We're going to come out. We're just going to do one video a week for the Knicks right now. We're just going to do like a weekly wrap-up show, which will be kind of fun. We'll also post it on this channel as well. We'll give you some more information when that comes out. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could subscribe, if you can ring that bell, you know what that means? That'd be awesome.